So welcome to lesson 1.1, place value and multiply by multiples of 10. So let's see if you can multiply by 10. Well, hopefully everyone knows 10 times 1 is 10. So what's 10 times 10? Well, that's 100. Now what's 100 times 10? Well, you could sit there and do that. What, you get a row of zeros and then you'd step over. By the way, this is a little Mr. Ben thing. You'll see I like to put an arrow there rather than a 0. 1 times 0, 1 times 0, 1 times 1 is 1. And that looks like 1, 2, 3. That looks like 1,000. So there seems to be a pattern here that hopefully you know already. And so what's 1,000 times 10? Well, instead of doing all that, if I have 9 thousands, 9 times 1,000 would be 9,000, so 10 times 1,000 must be 10,000. It is, right? Please, if you don't know this, if you have 702 times 1,000, that's 702,000. So we're going to go over that today because hopefully somewhere in elementary school you learned about the ones place and the tens place and the hundreds place. Those are called place values. And this is our very first lesson. We got to make sure that we all know that, right? Well, where did those names come from, right? Well, there's 10, and there's 10 times 10, 100, and 1,000 is 10 times 10 times 10, right? And then 10,000, right, is 1,000 times 10. And we multiply by 10 again, we get 100,000. We multiply by 10 again, you get 1,000,000. Now I've skipped a few. But if, because then you get 10 million and 100 million, then it's billions, then 10 billion, 100 billion, and then it's trillions. Do you know what comes after trillions? Oh, and I skipped over ones. Yeah, that's 10 divided by 10, which is 1. Okay, so we want to know what the value of each of these places are. So this is our first lesson. You're taking those notes. All right, and you're going to tell me, I've already put that 9 is worth not 9, it's worth 9 billion. So what's the 8 worth? Please write it down. Well, let's say this number. Try and say it yourself before you hear me say it. It's 9,876,000,000. So these are the millions, okay? 543,000. So this section there are the thousands, okay? 210. So 9,876,543,210. So we just said it, 9,876,000,000. So this is 800 million. 7 then must be worth 70 million. And the 6 is worth 6 million, right? Because we just said 9,876,000,000. So what's the 5 worth? It's worth 500,000. So let's do the rest of them. 4 is worth 40,000. And let me write that out in words just because 40 doesn't have a U, right? 4 has a U in it, but 40 doesn't, which I often see wrong on students' papers. So that's 40,000. The next is 3,000. That 2 is not worth 2. It's worth 200, right? Now we're on the other side of this comma. That's worth 10, right? The 1 is not worth 1, it's worth 10. And 0 is worth 0, but that is the ones place, all right? That's the name of this place. So the place values, right, are called the tens place, the hundreds place, the thousands place. This is the 10,000s place because it's 4 times 10,000. Then it's the 100,000s place, the millions, the 10 millions, the 100 millions. Those are the place values, but this is what I'm looking for here. All right, so tell me what the value of the 3 is. Hopefully you're saying, well, that's 3 million. What's the 2 worth? That's worth 20,000. 7 is worth 700. And the 9 is worth 90. Right? Let's try to say that word. The words for that number. So that's 3,426,791. Right? These are all the thousands in there, and then we have the 3 million. 3,426,791. All right, so I'm going to ask the same question just a different way. Name the place value of the 8. All right, so the 8 is there, so that is 80,000, right? Because you would say 83,517. This is 80 million, because that's 82 million right there. So what's the 8 worth in the last one? It's worth 8 billion, right? These are thousands, these are millions, and that's a billion. 8,713,000,000 is what that number is. So let's just review multiplying by 10. There's this shortcut called add a 0. So 563 times 10, write that down. Right, so you add a 0 to it. Now, I want commas in the right place. So what's the rule for commas? You go 1, 2, 3 from the end, and what number is that? 5,630. Notice I don't say and also notice that the commas really help you understand the place value. So this time we're going to have to add 2 zeros. And we put 1, 2, 3, and that is 56,300. To multiply by 1,000, you add 3 zeros. So 5, 6, 3, and then 3 zeros, and then I go 1, 2, 3, and comma, and that's 563,000. Try those. So that's 90,200. Multiplying by 1,000, add 3 zeros. There's 3 zeros in that, and 2 zeros in that. And that's 8,006,000. All right, so we're practicing, and you should do all of these. Pause the video and do them yourself before you hear me say the answer. Adding 4 zeros, and I'm putting the number. And how would you say that? 90,070,000. Good luck on your homework.